Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Gamnesia's other podcast, Gamnesia After Dark. We asked and there was a pretty significant interest in a more casual podcast, so here we are. Just bear with us, this is our first episode, so there are bound to be some things that we get wrong and things we don't like, so we'll be adjusting that over the next few episodes to better suit everyone. Also, as a precautionary measure, we are aiming for a slightly older audience with this series, so if you're sensitive to swearing, we advise listening with caution. It doesn't mean there will be swearing, but the possibility definitely exists.
I think there will be swearing.
Oh, I'm sure. I got a couple planned in here, so...
Wait, you plan your swearing?
No, I know places where I'm likely to swear, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I just googled a list of swears, that's what I did.
Okay. Are you just gonna, put them in at different moments? Are they interesting?
No, I'm just gonna roll them out gradually, here and there.
Start small and progress throughout more intensity.
Yeah, throughout the podcast here, that's what I'll be doing.
Okay. Sure.
Alright. So, there are three of us here today, and so, as the point of this podcast is to try and get you guys more familiar with us as a staff, I think it'd be prudent to start by introducing ourselves, if one of you wants to go ahead and start.
I was waiting for you.
I was waiting for you. Go.
Okay. Well, I'll start then. I'm Steven. I am one of the writers here at Gamnesia.
Is that it? Okay, I thought it was going to be a longer thing. Okay, sure. And I'm Aloisia. I've been streaming with Gamnesia for over 2 years now.
I'm Alex. I'm a writer here from Gamnesia. Been here for 3 years. This is my first podcast ever.
Wonderful. So I think that it's a really good thing we have going here. I know one of the things I've felt in recent years is that there hasn't been as much social interactivity with the staff as there used to be. And so, I know, for instance, I tend to just pop in long enough to see what the latest news is and kind of go about my business and just hop off for the day. So I really like the idea that we can just sit down and talk and get to know each other a bit better.
I agree. I mean, the advantage when you stream, of course, is that, we're on there and we're regulars. And so we're, constantly talking about what's going on in each other's lives. But, we don't get to do that with the other people who don't stream with us.
Yeah, it's especially different with people that are, not living in the same area as you. We're all from different parts of the world, so it's not like we can find each other at conventions or stuff like that as easily. So it's really nice to have this opportunity here to, get to know the people on my team.
Definitely. I mean, unless I'm mistaken, we're all in 3 different countries right now anyway. So we've got, Canada, we've got the US, and we've got Sweden, so...
Yeah, we got a really diverse group of people here, and it's interesting to see just how many people we have from other countries. I think most of us are based in the United States, but we definitely have some Canadians and have a lot of people from Sweden and that area. So it's and people who have come and gone. We've gotten people from all over the place, and it's great that we're all here able to communicate and have fun and just hang out via the magic of the internet.
Yeah, the only negative is that we don't actually get to meet each other in person generally. But this is the next best thing.
Yeah, I did get to meet you at E3 a couple years ago, and that was really awesome. I have stories from that convention that I still tell to this day that maybe we'll get into in another podcast. They're not exactly fitting for what we have planned for today. But...
Right, when we can go to conventions and actually meet each other, it's great, but being, so far away, it's not always possible. And then, of course, for us, for instance, flying to the U.S. isn't always a possibility. And then, of course, I know they have EGLX in Canada, and we won't be able to go out to any of those, so this is the next best thing.
So I know one thing I'm always curious about with other people is what we're playing right now. I've gotten the feeling that my general tastes in gaming are rather different from everyone else's here on staff. So I like to know what other people are playing, maybe pick up a game that I may have overlooked or just kind of blown off. So if you guys want to spend a few minutes talking about what you've been doing recently.
Yeah, I'll go with this one. I've been playing a lot of the Yakuza series. They're pretty much bringing almost every game in this series to the PS4 over the next year, and they are just incredible games. They're all developed in-house by Sega, and they have just the best story, graphics-wise, like, they look beautiful. You can see every pore in these characters' faces. You can, do pretty much anything in these games, too. They're like 3D open-world beat-em-ups, but the open world is so small, but they pack so much into them. And you're always just left with more to do. It's awesome. You can open a goddamn cat cafe.
You know what? The funny thing is, I was going through some of our stuff that we got from different conventions and everything, and I had a card, actually, about a cat cafe. And on one side it was about a specific cat cafe, and then on the other side it was a Yakuza card. And I was like, wait, what is this? And this wasn't the time we got it. This was actually like a year later. I'm like, what is this card? Why do I have this card? And I remember, of course, seeing the stand for Yakuza and everything, but I didn't know that there was a link to a cat cafe. And so I was very confused.
These games, too, they don't sell that much, so they're not that big of a name here now, but they're kind of getting a bigger one with Yakuza 0 that came out last year, and Yakuza 6. And Yakuza 0, I'm managing a bowling alley in this game, and I hired a chicken as my manager. It doesn't get any better.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Okay. I haven't tried any of the games, but wait, what platform are they available on?
Well, they did have a short release only in Japan on the Wii U, but it's mostly on PlayStation 3 and 4. All, really arcadey, Sega-type games. They're really fun.
Okay, yeah, I don't have a PlayStation at all. So...
Oh, they're on PC now, too. I forgot about that. They just came out, this month. Yakuza 0 is on the PC now.
But how is it?
The port? Well, don't use a keyboard and mouse. That's about all I can really say.
Oh, no. Well...
They're fighting games. They're built for gamepad and stuff. And people out there, I know a lot of them, they're using a keyboard and mouse with these games, and that's just kind of crazy to me.
Well, that's I tend to play with keyboard and mouse and prefer it but depends on the game, of course. I play platformers with controllers, of course, but
oh yeah, no, I definitely see it.
I don't know. Okay, maybe I'll check it out if you recommend it so highly.
I certainly do. There's nothing wrong with keyboard and mouse, by the way, but I personally don't prefer it.
Well, you'll understand when I tell you what games I'm playing, so... Okay, cool. And Steven, what are you playing right now?
I've been playing a ton of stuff. So I have predominantly been focusing on Mega Man 11 right now. Part of that was work-related, since I did wind up reviewing it for this site. But one of the things I've gotten into over the past few years is speedrunning. And given that this is a brand new game, there's already a very large Mega Man speedrunning community. So I figured this was my chance to hop in there again and really help figure things out. What stages to do in what order, if there are any specific techniques to focus on. It's a little... I don't know... it's a little weird to say. I was technically world record holder, mostly because I had the first run that got verified for it.
Wow.
And it went back and forth between... Well, so I was on newcomer, so for that particular difficulty.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think within the first day, we got it down to a 45-minute run, just between me and one other guy who just went back and forth. It seemed like I would get a record and then, like, feeling great about myself, and then some other guy would come, like, 3 or 4 hours later and take it from me, and then, of course, I have to go back and reclaim it, and
Okay.
so I think I'm third right now, but it's still very new, so I don't want to put, like, too much stock in that. There's still a lot of people just playing it casually and trying to work more on the speedrun than actually doing the speedrun. But, you know, a record's a record. I'll hold that in my heart for a while.
But you've also been enjoying playing the game, right? Not just the speedrunning part, right?
Oh, yeah, no, the game is fantastic.
Okay.
It actually might be in, like, my top 3 or 4 Mega Mans.
Okay. I've never played a Mega Man game, so...
I played a couple of the NES ones, and, like, I can't even imagine. Like, I did not get Mega Man 11, but if I did, I'd be so excited to be one of the first people to figure out those routes and all of that. Like, that's got to be an incredible experience as, like, an early player of this game, because everybody after you was probably just going to go for a guide or something.
Well, that was one of the difficult things with me, is because I was a little too young for Mega Man growing up. I mean, I never had the NES. So I missed all of those, and it wasn't until maybe in the past 6 or 7 years that I started picking them up, and certainly Capcom releasing the Legacy collections and the X collections helped a lot with that. But I always had guides, because everything was out by that point. But this is, like, the first time I've had to sit through a Mega Man game and really think about what could the boss order be. If I just beat Fuse Man in 11, for instance, what other robot might be weak against that? Just figuring that out for the first time, figuring out all the different tricks the game throws at you is very rewarding. I think it made me enjoy the game a lot more, just because I actually had to put a lot more effort into it than just like, oh yeah, I can just look up the guide and know precisely, like, what enemies are coming up and where the secret items are and everything.
Yeah, I can't even imagine going through, like, a platformer or, like, a seriously, like, quest divulgent game or anything like that, like, without a guide almost these days, like, because sometimes it's just a little too much what they're putting into it. But with a Mega Man game, you can tread all that ground yourself. I'm half tempted to, just get a copy of one of these games myself and just try to find out where to go. It's an interesting sounding experience.
Yeah, I have not played a Mega Man game, and I probably won't, but just because, I didn't grow up with it. We don't have any here as well. I don't think we do. Maybe we do. We have a selection here, but I haven't looked at every single thing that we have. Yeah. So are you playing anything else besides Mega Man 11 right now?
Let's see. I got a copy of Life is Strange 2. I did play through episode 1 already. I'm also reviewing that eventually, hopefully soon. So I don't want to get too much into that right now. And being a story-driven game anyway, I kind of feel like people need to experience it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a lot different because it takes place 3 years after the first Life is Strange, and so, like, none of the characters we've come to know and love are in it. I will say that there is a really interesting Easter egg.
Okay.
That the game asks you when you open it up if you've played the first game, and then it asks you what, if you have, it asks you what your final decision was in that game, because that's the one that determines the ending. And depending on what you pick, there's a scene in Life is Strange 2 episode 1 that actually relates back to that. You come across this this little town in Oregon, and in my case, I had chose to destroy the town to save Chloe because I love Chloe. And so there was they were commenting on this town and how destroyed it was and everything. And then there was just a plaque that said something along the lines of, in memory of Arcadia Bay.
Okay.
And I was just like, what the hell?
Huh.
Like, that's really cool. But I also kind of expected it to be something bigger than just, like, a brief side mention.
Okay.
Like, I was wondering the whole time, like, what this big thing was. But no, it was a nice nod to the original season.
I played, actually, I recently played through episode 1 of Life is Strange. Because, I'd heard about it, but I didn't know much about it, so I downloaded it. It's the free one. And I played it, and yeah, okay. It's not my type of game. And then because I wasn't going to go buy the other episodes, I went ahead and read kind of what happens, like what are the choices and things like that. So yeah, because it was okay. It's just not, I'm not so into like point and click and things like that. But yeah, I know a lot of people who love those games and or who love Life is Strange, and then they were really looking forward to the second one. So yeah, and I guess in this case, then you have sort of like a choices do matter kind of thing.
Yeah, there's some really interesting stuff in this one where the whole dynamic of the characters is different. Mm-hmm. So in Life is Strange, you had Max and Chloe,
mm-hmm.
best friends, and all this stuff. But here, you play as the older of a pair of brothers.
Right.
And due to circumstances that are very unfavorable and form like the entire basis of the plot, you're pretty much all each other have, and so you become almost a father figure to your little brother, and so things that you do, even not like, oh, do I do thing A or thing B, but just like even the little things and how you talk to people can really shape what he does, because he learns from you. And if you start stealing stuff, for instance, then he's going to start stealing stuff because he thinks it's okay, because you did it.
Okay.
That's really cool.
So, so there's still that element of, like, you have control over kind of, like, how things play out, but in a lot of cases, in my experience with episode 1, it's not as obvious what those are. I mean, a lot of them are just simply like, oh, we're just playing the game, instead of choosing to say, one thing over another, or picking one major decision over another. It's not like as in your face about the choices.
Okay.
But other than that, I've just been playing a lot of random stuff. I actually have been participating in a tournament. The whole premise of the tournament is that you don't know what game you're going to play until like 5 minutes before you play it. So it really tasks you with like adapting to what you get, adapting to the controls, how quickly you can pick up on a lot of things. One of the match I lost on, and I'm now out of said tournament, but it was a Christmas-based parody of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Okay.
And it was actually way better than it had any right to be. The menu theme was like a legitimate mashup of the Metal Gear Solid 2 theme and some Christmas song. I don't know if it was Jingle Bells or Santa Claus is Coming to Town or what, but it was like, what the hell? But it was very well voice acted. Like, I mean, they had everything down to the codec calls and the inventory system. It was insanely good, which isn't often the case, but this one was very worth checking out.
I need to find this.
Okay.
I might be able to send you a link later if I can find it.
Oh boy!
It's actually the sequel to. It's called Merry Gear Solid 2. It's actually there's another one that came before it, so they recommend playing that one first. But they even have, like, if you've played Metal Gear Solid 3. You have the fight with the End, which you can cheese by just not fighting him for like a week. And they even have that mechanic in here. Like, the first boss of the game you can beat by setting your clock on your computer forward, 2 weeks. And you're just done.
Huh.
So there's a lot of homage to that series. And it's quirky, but in a very good, unique way.
That's super interesting.
So what have you been up to?
I had opened up my Steam to actually see what it is I've been playing other than... Okay. So I guess I can talk about what I've been playing. Yeah, so I actually have been, well, these days, and I would say within the last, 2 weeks or so, I alternate between Rainbow Six Siege and Battlefield 1. So I really love shooters, and so those are the ones that I'm playing right now. Battlefield 1 I got when it first came out and played it quite a bit. And then there was a long period where we didn't play it at all, and I didn't pick it up. But then, I don't know, I've come back to it, and now it's like my go-to every single night. And I really love it. I'm not looking forward to Battlefield 5 coming out for various reasons. Nothing of which has to do with women in Battlefield 5. But yeah, let's see. No,
their marketing is a mess.
Oh my God. See, here's the thing. We went to Gamescom, and so, of course, I saw the reveal trailer and everything when it first got revealed, and I didn't like it. I was like, wait, what is this? Because it just, doesn't even matter. For me, it doesn't even matter what sex, what race, whatever. You don't have someone with a prosthetic arm, at all. And then there was just so much about the reveal trailer that turned me off. And then every time I read more about it, it just really, I did not like it. But anyone who didn't like that trailer or what was coming out and the reasoning behind it and everything, and anyone who didn't appreciate the non-authentic nature of what they were trying to do, and yes, I know it's a video game, etc. It's basically you got called a crying man baby. And I remember posting on Facebook, well, it doesn't look good to me. I guess I'm a crying man baby. I mean, but, I went to Gamescom and they had it just like I had first played Battlefield 1 2 years before that. So, get to Battlefield 5 line up and I play it. And, it was actually enjoyable in some respects. I liked the weapon that I had. I liked some of the other stuff. However, I didn't like some of the yelling when people got downed. I didn't like some of the aspects of gameplay. And this, was just the version I played a 20-minute demo. And since then, of course, they had the beta that came out, which I did not play. But, of course, there's been so many reviews online now about the beta and how the gameplay is. And these people, the negative reviews, they're not about women being there. They're not about, so how inauthentic it is. It's about the gameplay, the weapons, the tanks, the everything about it that just, even the UI. When I look at Battlefield 1, I love the UI, and it's just so clear, like killing someone. Like tonight I was happy because I was a sniper, and I just, I did really well as a sniper tonight. And there's something so satisfying when you shoot someone, how it you see like a red X, and you have their name in red, and, there's some other graphics and stuff, and it's just so satisfying. In Battlefield 5, I think it is right now, and hopefully they'll fix it. When you shoot someone, when you kill someone, it's not red, it's white. I don't even remember how it shows up exactly, but from what I've seen, it looks really different. And actually the UI for me looks very much like they've taken a big step backwards in terms of the look and feel. So I'm very disappointed. And I know that we'll be talking about the game releases this month, and I know it was supposed to come out this month, and it's been pushed back to November, but honestly, I think it needs a lot of work. other than that, when I did play Battlefield 5, I can say that for me, it was very much like, or what I wanted it to be was like if I was playing Battlefield 1, but with, the World War II maps and the weaponry. But what I don't understand is why they had to take something that plays so well like Battlefield 1 and basically fuck it all up for Battlefield 5. So I'm very disappointed. But yeah. So going back to what I've been playing. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 1. And like I said, Rainbow Six Siege, which, another shooter. And that's fun when you can play with people you know. And so we often play here with some friends of ours. And it's really fun. Other than that, I've been trying to find a good platformer to get back into. And I'm failing miserably. So if any of you have any ideas, I bought Child of Light for Uplay. And that was supposed to be this really great platformer. Everyone said it was awesome. And it's gorgeous. It's like watercolor. It's just, the game is so beautiful. And you can fly. One of your, skill upgrades that you can fly. But when it comes to the fighting, basically it's some kind of weird battle time, turn-based fighting kind of thing. And it always takes place on the same scene. So you might be in the world and you're going about your business and you come upon, something there, and you can try to jump over it or like make it so that it doesn't see you. But the minute it notices you're there, boom, you're in this room or the same scene. It's almost like a cave. And it's the same scene for every time you fight an enemy. And it's really, really boring. And I don't know how people enjoy this. I know that another friend I talked to, she bought it and she found it boring after a little while. And I just can't even finish the first, I finished the first part of the game. I can't go on. It's just that bad. And then I tried to play, I think last year I bought Dust and Elysian Tale.
Oh, I love that one.
And I know it's coming on Switch, and I know that people love it. Last year when I bought it, I tried to play, but the fighting was just so repetitive and boring. It was like the same, few attacks that you do, and I couldn't take it. So I said nope. I uninstalled it. But I was looking for something, so I guess a week or two ago I reinstalled it and I tried to play. I got further along, but then, I got further into the game, but then again, it's so repetitive and it's just not fun for me. And yet everyone says it's an awesome game. So I don't know. But it's also funny because Dust, the actual character, is voiced by one of the voice actors of the Godzilla anime. And that's really funny. Yeah, Mephius. Isn't it his name? Mephius? One of the religious dudes. The one who advises, oh God. I can't think. But anyway, yeah, it's the same voice actor, and it's really funny to hear.
Yeah, I always think it's really awesome. Like, I have a bad habit of, like, playing a game or watching anime, and I'm just like, wait, I've heard this voice before. and then I have to, like, stop everything I'm doing and go look it up. Because it's going to bug me.
Yeah, who did it? Yeah, I mean, I knew he did the voice, like, not when I bought the game, but I had read because the voice actor, the work was really good, so that I was like, oh, who is this actor? So I went to look it up because, and that's the other thing, that's the one thing maybe not to do, is you hear someone's voice when they're, voicing a character and you think, wow, that's a great voice. And then you go look up who the actor is and it's like, whoa, okay, I did not need to see that because they're so different. It's like, for instance, the guy who voices Archer. The way he sounds is one thing, but then he looks totally different. And no, but hey, it's an example like any other. But
I totally get it.
But same thing. It's so, his voice is so awesome. But then when you see the actor for the Dust and for the Godzilla anime guy, like, okay, yeah, and you try to imagine, like what that would sound like. and like how that voice comes out of that person who looks like this. I know that sounds weird, but it's
no,
true.
I feel the same way with like Troy Baker. Every time I see him, like,
wait, are we talking about the same Troy Baker? Hold on, now I have to look this up. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
He was Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 5. He was Nathan Drake, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, I see him. American voice actor. Yeah, okay. Huh.
Whenever I see him fill a role, I never feel like, man, he looks like he should play that part. It's almost entirely his voice acting talent. It almost entirely comes down to how he sounds, because there's no way I'm associating that voice with that man.
No, for sure. I'm trying to think, what was the, let's see. Yeah, there's a few of them like that where, the voice acting, yeah, I mean, they and also when they voice several characters. And it's a different voice each time, and then you associate it with the actual actor, and like, wow, okay. It's completely different. Yeah. So Dust Elysian Tale, I mean, like I said, people gave it such good reviews. They're so excited for it to come out on Switch, and I just don't see it. So I don't understand. And then other than that, I just finished, actually, which will come back later around. I just finished, actually, all three, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, then, in the wrong order, of course, then Wolfenstein The New Order, and then finally Wolfenstein The Old Blood. So, completely not the right way.
I am halfway through The New Colossus, but man, that's such a crazy order.
Oh, I know, right? There's a reason, though, for it.
I think I've gotten maybe halfway through whichever one was the first one to come out.
The New Order.
Yeah, that's what So yeah, I'm like maybe halfway through that.
Okay.
I love The New Order.
Uh-huh.
I have a copy of The Old Blood sitting on my shelf, and I'm about halfway through Wolfenstein 2.
Okay.
So I think I have a little bit of work to do, but I love this series.
I love the series, and like I said, we'll talk about it later. But in terms of
we jumped into that basket.
No, it's my own fault. But I didn't mean like you can't talk about it now. Oh God, no. I just mean that it'll come back for me later to talk about, and you'll see why. But no, for me, the funny thing is, so spoilers. I love Wolfenstein, the whole thing. And in 2014, I think it was, I bought The New Order for PlayStation 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, this was a big mistake. At the time, my ex had a PlayStation 3. And The New Order came out. I was like, oh, I love Wolfenstein. I have to try this game. Big mistake. So I bought it, picked up the controller, and tried to play it. Oh my God, it was horrible. Just the worst, because I do not play shooters with a controller. I play shooters with a keyboard and mouse.
And it was also like around that time where they stopped kind of putting effort into like ports, like for the PlayStation 3 they'd be making it.
Probably, I'm not sure.
So like I had a same experience with like Shadow of Mordor when that came out for the PS3. I put that into the PS3, and it played like complete garbage, and I got it on the PS4 or whatever, the Xbox One, and it was just so much better. And like, though they really gave up towards the end of the console cycle last generation.
Yeah, that was my only experience with the PlayStation 3, and the only thing that I played on PlayStation that I enjoyed, was the Little Big Planet series. And that's one I would like to see on another platform, because I don't have PlayStation. But yeah, no, I tried to play The New Order, and that was a big mistake. So I put it down, and it was a big waste of money. But then when I finally got a PC, one of the first games I bought was The New Order. But I didn't play it. Or rather, I started to play it, and then life got in the way. I got busy and everything. And then I bought The Old Blood as well. And finally, I went to E3 last year, and they had The New Colossus. So Wolfenstein 2. Now, here's the thing. I waited in line to play it. I mean, they had one of the longest lines of any of the games last year at E3. I don't know if you did that, Steven, or if you tried to play it, but...
No, I just waited to get the picture.
Yeah, so they had it set up like, a little American diner there with, you get a milkshake and everything. So finally got in to play it. Now here's the problem. And spoilers if anyone hasn't played Wolfenstein 2. They did not have mouse and keyboard. They had controllers. And the first part one of the first parts of Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus, our hero is in a wheelchair. Now, you can imagine a shooter where the hero is confined to a wheelchair is, different and a little more difficult than your average I get to run around everywhere I want to. Now imagine having to direct the hero in a fucking wheelchair with a controller. It was awful and horrible. And it was awful. So it took me a long time to get through the demo, and I never did finish it. And it was just, because you're supposed to play, again, the demo lasts a certain time, and there's an objective at the end of the demo. And I remember one of the women coming over to me, she says, if I were you, I would put it on a lower difficulty. And then, you can at least get to the objective because it's really interesting. And I said, yeah, I'll try that. But the biggest issue I have is that it's with the fucking controller. So, I lowered the difficulty and it was still just awful. And I never finished the demo. And eventually, after a while, I left because we had an interview with another publisher. And, I still said, I'm going to get the game when it comes out. And I did. But then for the longest time, I didn't play it because I had other games to play. And finally, I think it was this summer, I sat down, I played the New Colossus. I got through that fucking wheelchair part very easily with a keyboard and mouse and not on a lower difficulty. And then I went back and played the New Order all the way through. And then I played the Old Blood all the way through, which I can tell you, the Old Blood has some very interesting elements in there. I don't want to spoil it for you, Alex, but I wasn't expecting some of the stuff in the Old Blood. But all in all, in terms of, I love Wolfenstein and the whole series, so I'm actually quite happy with the games. I know that I keep reading that the New Order was really great, but the New Colossus, the Wolfenstein 2, isn't as good. I hear that the weapons in the New Order are really awesome, and the Old Blood, they're really good, but in the New Colossus, they're not good. And then, of course, a lot of the people for the New Colossus, when it's got talking about, liberating America from the Nazis because of the alternate history and everything, there was a lot of, feedback about that. But I enjoyed all three games, and I think they're great. The only thing is that now I'm done with them. In the New Colossus, and I think the New Order as well, you can continue on and try to get, the Oberkommandos and things like that, and get, you can still do some killing. But I haven't yet returned to it to finish that part if I want to. I don't see the need. But I enjoyed it, and so yeah. But that's just it. For me, it's about the story, and that's what I love about the games. Sure, I love shooters, so I love just going in and, shooting everyone and killing Nazis, but, it's a story first and foremost for me. So, yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Well, I guess, on that topic, I did mention that my general taste in games tended to be, really different from everyone, and I was sitting here debating on whether I wanted to bring this up, but I recently bought the Senran Kagura Reflections on Switch, because anyone who knows me knows that, of course, I would.
What is that?
It's, so, I guess if you've never heard of the Senran Kagura series...
That's the JRPG with the boobs, right?
It's not so much a JRPG, but it's like a...
I don't know anything about it.
I think it started off as, a flat-out fighting game, and then it's kind of transitioned into, like, an action type of thing. But yeah, it features a bunch of, like, young, busty ninjas.
Oh, of course.
And so this one in particular, well, so I guess first off, I got to review. They came out with a shooter on PlayStation 4 last year, called Peach Beach Splash, and I actually had the pleasure of interviewing the producer.
I remember reading that interview,
which is really weird because I've never given an interview through a translator before, so that was a unique experience for me. But I remember getting that. I was like flipping the hell out because this guy's like a hero to me. And so that was really awesome, and the game was pretty fun. It's I mean, it's your standard kind of squad based shooter, but it involves like squirting the other ninjas with water guns,
scared me
and
there.
then if you do it enough, like their clothes pop off.
Of course.
So it's that kind of thing. This one seems to be a little tamer. Basically, it focuses on like the relationship aspect of like between you and the characters. And I haven't played a lot of it yet, but it makes heavy use of the HD rumble.
Okay.
And basically, you just get to like massage the characters.
Okay.
Do all sorts. Yeah, it's again like it's something I don't expect anyone else on the staff would play, but like,
hey, whatever floats your boat. I don't. That's not something that appeals to me in a game, but if it does appeal to you, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like I kind of had to get it to support the guy. I mean, it's not like super high on my priority list, but it's just something I can like kill a little bit of time with here and there. Definitely not something I'm going to be playing outside of my apartment. I don't need any more weird looks. But
okay. Well, I mean, hey, yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna look into it. No guarantees I'll play it.
Yeah, I mean, there's other games in the series coming out. I think there's some stuff coming out for maybe PS4, maybe some of the remasters, some of the older stuff. I think there's a few anime series. So, I mean, if that floats your boat, then like there's things out there you can go experience these, but definitely not for everyone. I will be completely upfront with that.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it's a pretty good franchise. Like, almost every game in that series is solid, except for maybe one, but I've never looked into it too much.
Speaking of Switch, there is a game that I did try at Gamescom for the Switch. Now, you can play it alone, but it's better when you play with a person or with someone else, and it's called Pod. And it's, if I understand correctly, it's only on Switch. And you've got two little characters. One is some sort of rock, and one is a star that has fallen from the sky, I think. And it's sort of like, it's a series, it's almost like a puzzle platformer kind of thing. And you have to cooperate and you know, like, you know, one has to press a button here that makes the other one be able to go to this other place. But you have to do it because, you have to do it like you have to coordinate what you're doing, because there's sometimes where one of the characters can get to a place that the other can't. And then there's other times where one of the characters has to actually carry the other character in its mouth while it's jumping around. And there's, you know, a few other mechanics like that. But it was really fun. And it's coming out on Switch, I think, or is it already out? Yeah, I think it's already out. And I want to get it, but then I'm like, oh, I need someone to play with, because you can play by yourself. Like, they have a way that if you press certain buttons on the controller, then you can basically switch between which character you are. But I'm sure it's much more fun with another person. So that one I tried. It's fun. And then there was something else. I think it is on the Switch. No, I can't think right now, but maybe it'll come to me later.
All right. It sounds like we've all got a lot of interesting things to maybe look into. I know I definitely need to get back to like Wolfenstein. And, yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for things we should try, like feel free to let us know. I mean, I personally am always looking for new things to try. So, if you got any good suggestions, let us know.
Yeah, and also, speaking of streaming, we have some games that we stream quite often, and some that, we're also open to receiving suggestions as well, either on some of our, we don't always, we stream on a Saturday, but we also stream on other days if there's something to stream and if we're, available and stuff. So if you have ideas for that as well, we're open.
Alright, so I guess before we get into our big discussion, as if that wasn't already big enough, we are recording this like really early into October, so I think it's probably a good idea to take a look at some of the biggest releases across video games and television and that sort of thing this month. It's not meant to be a comprehensive list, but we kind of just picked out some of the biggest ones. So I guess we'll start with the games. I guess I'll just go through this list, and then if anyone has any comments on them, we can talk about those afterwards. So right now, we have Mega Man 11 out on PC, Switch, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. Assassin's Creed Odyssey just came out, also on PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. And Super Mario Party on the Switch.
Woo!
Is out now as well. So I'm sure a lot of people were excited about that. Maybe not. Apparently, it's like the second highest rated game in like years or something. I don't exactly remember what the article said.
That's what I'm expecting. It's a return to form, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they've done away with the everyone moves together mechanic. They now have online multiplayer, which I'm sure a lot of people are happy about.
Yeah, but
last I heard, that was limited specifically to just the mini games and not like the actual full board game mode.
Not only that, it's not even the mini games; it's only a few mini games. Basically, it from what I'm reading, like groups of 4 only get to play 5 mini games together from a list of 10 different games. We played it at E3, and you can play 5. We played 5 of the mini games, and okay, they're okay, but what is it? 84 games, I think it is, and you can't play all of them together online. It's kind of ridiculous for me, but yeah. So
yeah, it seems like a real big missed opportunity there.
Definitely.
So coming out next week on October 12th, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS. I guess Luigi's Mansion I'm kind of excited for. I never got around to picking it up on GameCube, and so this will be a chance for me to like get in there and do that. But I would also much rather have had it on Switch. Especially with Luigi's Mansion 3 coming out. Like, I know they're trying to support the 3DS still, but it just seems to me like it was a weird move to not put it on Switch. Or maybe even in addition to.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If I still had a 3DS, I would have bought this game instantly, because Luigi's Mansion, it was such a beautiful game. I'd love to play it again. It's too bad it's not on Switch. It really is. Yeah. Black Ops 4, on the other hand, I'm really big into Battle Royale type games, and their new Blackout mode, that seems kind of interesting. I mean, I'm not the biggest into what they've been doing with that series the last 4 or 5 years, maybe. People quit a lot later than me. Like, I liked Black Ops 3. Everybody else hates every Call of Duty game, pretty much.
I've never played a Call of Duty game.
Yeah, like, for the past couple years, like, Call of Duty for me has been one of those franchises where, like, I like the games, but I'm going to pick them up, like, a year or two later.
Okay.
After the prices come down. We'll get into a bit more later, but I've been shifting heavily away from, like, online multiplayer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, so, like, I'm, like, that one person who actually plays Call of Duty for the story and not the multiplayer. And so, given that they've pretty much done away with that in this one, I do not see myself getting it anytime ever. And I mean, it's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. I mean, Battle Royale is a very big thing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, with the success of PUBG and Fortnite. But
I definitely like the way that they're revamping the gameplay system for Black Ops 4. They're making it more similar to Overwatch, and I feel like that could definitely help with class systems, specialists, and all of that kind of stuff. Could definitely breathe new life into their tired format. But again, when it comes down to skill, if you're good at Battlefield, play Battlefield for maybe 15 minutes, then play Call of Duty, and you'll absolutely kill, because it's a lot simpler.
Okay. Huh.
Alright, so coming out on the 19th, we have Dark Souls Remastered on Switch, and Soul Calibur 6
Yay.
on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and I think it's also PC, from what I've seen. I don't really have a lot to say here. I did play the Dark Souls Remastered network test on Switch, and it was Dark Souls. Coming from someone who has gotten all the achievements in the original version on the 360, I may pick it up eventually just to say, hey, portable Dark Souls, but I was very impressed with the fact that it was running on Switch, of course, but something about just, like, using the Joy-Cons and stuff to control it didn't feel all that great to me. It'd probably be something I'd have to do with, like, an actual controller.
I would say using the Joy-Cons for most anything is not so great, but that's my experience. Anyway.
I'm on the other side of the Soul spectrum there, because I want to play Dark Souls Remastered on the Switch, but I'm concerned that they're just giving me Dark Souls on a thing that I can throw. And that's not something I'm a fan of.
Yeah, that's something I think anyone should be concerned with. It's very easy to get tilted playing Dark Souls, especially when you get people, like, invading you all the time. Probably not the best decision to put that on a throwable object.
And Soul Calibur 6, we actually played both at E3 and Gamescom. Nothing much to say. It's a Soul Calibur game. I enjoyed it, but I don't know if they showed the complete roster. I don't think they showed their complete roster of characters they'll have. I'm still waiting to see them announce a few more, I hope. But, well, we only have, 13 days to wait, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think, I might be wrong about this, but I thought I read somewhere that they're locking a lot of their characters behind, like, a season pass or behind DLC.
I heard something about that as well, which I don't like that.
I don't either. I haven't really played a lot of the Soul Calibur series. I never had, like, a Dreamcast or anything growing up, so my introduction was with 2 on the GameCube.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, 2 is what I've played.
To me, that's still, like...
And I want Voldo!
To me, that's still, like, the gold standard of Soul Calibur.
I want Voldo back, and he's not in here.
Oh, yeah. Really?
I like him, and I like Mitsurugi, and Nightmare. And wait, isn't there another guy I like? But anyway, yeah, so he's not in this one, or at least not yet. So I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we'll be buying it, but you never know.
Right, so I think coming up on, like, my personal biggest release coming out this month, on October 26th, we're getting Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4.
Did you play the first one?
So here's the thing. I am not huge on open world games. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't...
Oh yeah, you didn't like Breath of the Wild, did you?
No, I still don't. It's not I didn't. Like, I do not. I know. And it feels like every passing day, it just gets worse and worse. So I'm not, like, huge on open world games, but I did, at the recommendation of a friend, pick up the prequel, Red Dead Redemption, on the 360. and it just completely captured me. Maybe it was because, like, I was looking for a good Western game, because there don't seem to be a lot of those.
Yeah, probably not.
I know there's, like, the Call of Juarez series, and I played a lot of Gun back in the day. But I, for whatever reason, I was just, like, in the mood to play something in that style, in that setting. And Red Dead Redemption really filled that for me. I wound up getting, like, all the DLC and everything. I mean, I put countless hours into Red Dead Redemption, which was just, like, what am I doing? Like, this is open world. I'm not supposed to be enjoying this, but...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how they continue with it, if they can, recapture that aspect and, draw me in as much as the first one did.
You've really sold the first game to me. I actually haven't touched my copy in almost years, so you made me just go back. I'm probably going to do that, but I wasn't going to buy Red Dead Redemption 2, just because I did not get that invested in the series the first time around. So I'll try going back. Hopefully I get onto it.
I haven't played any of any of Red Dead Redemption. I have seen the trailer for the second one, and I know so many people are looking forward to it. I don't have an Xbox One or a PS4, so I won't be getting it anyway. But yeah, is that true? It's only on those two platforms.
Yeah. Did they port the original Red Dead over? Like Red Dead Redemption 1, did they port that over to the PC yet?
And I think there was talk at one point about maybe trying to get, like, a PC port going. Maybe that was GTA, I don't remember, but...
Yeah, I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
I'll look, but I'm pretty sure it's still console.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't have a PC. I got an Xbox One X, I got a PS4 Pro.
How do you not have a PC?
I have a laptop, and it's a very terrible laptop that I use just for RuneScape.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to only have a Mac, so, and believe it or not, I did game with it, but there's not that many games. Yes, there are some games that run on a Mac, believe it or not.
Just not Metal Gear Rising anymore.
And they're actually good games, not shitty games either. I'll tell you about them later, but yeah, I finally was able to get my PC 2 years ago. But yeah, before that I had laptop for work sometimes, but then I had my Mac laptop for home. But yeah.
Well, I guess rounding out kind of the major releases for October, it's actually something we learned about just yesterday, I believe, relative to when we're recording, of course. But Square Enix is releasing Kingdom Hearts: The Story So Far on PlayStation 4. And I just have to wonder why. So, what it is basically, they took the 1.5 collection, the 2.5 collection, and the 2.8 collection, and threw them together in one package.
For the same price as one of those collections. It's great.
Yeah, so it's great if you haven't experienced them before, because you're getting a lot of content there for $40, which is just insane to me. But we already have 1.5 on the PlayStation 4. We have 2.5 on the PlayStation 4. We have 2.8 on the PlayStation 4. I don't understand why they are continuing to re-release these games for the same system.
Well, that may be true. I'm gonna buy it.
But it's a package?
It's a package, yeah. $40, you get every game in the series prior to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Right. Well, maybe they're trying to get a new audience for it, and these people don't want to buy every game individually.
I have not played a single Kingdom Hearts game, and I can tell you that I'm definitely going to be buying this collection on the day that it comes out, just because there's so much hype surrounding Kingdom Hearts 3, and I've been out of the loop my entire life on this stuff.
Your entire life? No, but me too.
Well, I guess I should backtrack a little bit and say that, like, I'm not mad that it's coming out for PlayStation 4, because, yeah, I mean, you make a lot of good points. It's very good for people who don't have these collections. That's a very solid price point. What I'm upset about is it's also not coming to Xbox, or at least they haven't confirmed anything at this time.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be the first Kingdom Hearts game on an Xbox console, and you think that if they're really trying to get people caught up on the story, it would make a lot more sense to put it on Xbox.
Get new people, yeah.
And there's probably a lot of work that would have to go into that, just transferring between systems. I'm not a game developer. I don't know how easy.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
I just hope at some point they will go back and put those on there.
I'm really hoping they do. But when it comes to porting things over to the Xbox doesn't have the biggest market in, like, Japan, like, their main demographic with this. I was really hoping that I could get it on Xbox, because I don't have enough games on my Xbox. I don't think anyone does.
I have tons of games on my Xbox, and I still don't have enough.
I think I have around 7 for my Xbox One.
Yeah, and the only Xbox thing we have are controllers. So...
And those are some good controllers.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have Xbox 360 for my PC, and then we bought 8 Xbox One controllers for our other PC to game, when we play games here with our friends and stuff. So yeah, no, they're excellent controllers, but that's the only Xbox thing I'll have in my house. So, yeah, we're not gonna...
I feel like a sucker for buying the Xbox One X.
Oh, you bought the One X? So you bought the Xbox.
Yeah, pretty much. But Forza Horizon 4 just came out, and it's like a racing game, and I'm not too big into racing games, but I'm playing it anyways, and it's a good game. But man, they really fucked up with this console.
Oh, yeah, I haven't played any Kingdom Hearts game either, and I saw the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 when we went to E3. And I actually was I didn't know the whole Disney part of it. And I was like, whoa, what's all this? And I didn't know that was...
Goofy's in Final Fantasy?
Well, I didn't know that this was a whole thing, that was the thing. So I was really surprised. It didn't make me want to go back and play all the games, though. And of course, they're not even for a platform that I can play. So, yeah.
I'd imagine if you're really interested in, like, figuring out what happens there, I'm sure there's a lot of good resources on YouTube who, like, sat down and just pieced together this just jumble of a story that Kingdom Hearts has. I think that's it for the games. I did want to mention in passing that the Overwatch annual Halloween event starts October 9th. There's your usual Halloween themed skins. They're starting to roll out. We can get some looks at some of those. I believe they're probably going back. I think I saw they're going back to the Junkenstein event and continue with that storyline. So if you've been following that should be pretty exciting.
I used to play Overwatch quite a bit, and then I don't know, I stopped a few months ago because it just stopped being fun. And yeah, last year I did play the Junkenstein event, and I mean, yeah, it was okay. So I mean, yay.
Right, so we also have some really big TV releases coming out this month, and I guess if you want to take over this section, because there's not a lot here that I'm particularly familiar with, or at least haven't been keeping up with all that much.
Well, I can definitely take the first one. Doctor Who is coming back tomorrow if you're in the UK. I don't know when it's going to be airing in the US, and I will have to see it on Monday. But yeah, no, it's going to be new season, new Doctor, and
new showrunner.
Now, I am a Whovian. I love Doctor Who. And I mean, I would say new Who, okay? So the 2005 on. However, I did, I have seen some of the other episodes from, the other runs and the other Doctors.
Me too.
Now, So I loved I've pretty much loved all the Doctors that they've had so far, this in the new incarnation. And I don't know yet if I can really say definitively who my favorite is, because it's kind of going back and forth between a few. And I absolutely loved Peter Capaldi.
Oh my god, like, I haven't seen any Peter Capaldi stuff.
No, you haven't?
Actually skipped over the 12th Doctor.
Why?
And I loved 9, 10, and 11.
Why?
Because, like, I didn't really feel like that same empathy from him or anything like that. Like, it just kind of seemed like completely different. Normally he doesn't swerve off in that way, but I haven't given him a fair chance.
No, you haven't.
I really haven't.
God.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I've seen, like, one episode with... I remember when, because I kind of lost it somewhere, like, middle of 11, and I mean, I've since picked that up, but I haven't seen but, like, an episode of 12. But back when Capaldi first started, Ben was hounding me, like, constantly to, like, get back on it.
Yeah.
I stopped watching at 11's regeneration into Capaldi, so I'm gonna go into the new Who. I'm gonna go, like, watch his other episodes, like, all of them. But for now, I haven't seen it. I can't wait to see the new Doctor, though.
So, here's the thing. I mean, I think Peter Capaldi did an excellent job. I think if there was any kind of letdown, it might have been from the writing and some of the storylines, and you know, the companion with him and everything. So there were some, you know, really excellent things about his time as the Doctor, and there were some things that could have been better. But I mean, personally, I would say that about all the new Doctors. So tomorrow we get our new Doctor, who is a woman this time. Now, frankly, I don't care what sex or race or whatever it is, so I don't really have anything to say about that. All I want is a good Doctor. And I don't care who that person is, as long as they give me the Doctor, you know, and how the Doctor, you know, yeah.
She certainly is shaping up to be that way too.
So far, now,
because like they got the outfit down.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my taste, but whatever.
It's not that hard to nail a Doctor's outfit, but if there were a female Doctor, that's probably what she'd look like, you know?
Well, it's not overtly feminine or anything, that's for sure. And I know I read something where, you know, there's going to, you kind of, I can't remember, like there's a reason she picks those clothes or something like that, but it's not like a big thing made of it. I think the reservations, and I do have reservations, but it has nothing to do with her. Jodie Whittaker is an awesome actress. I've seen her in other things, and I'm really happy that she got the job, just as I would have been had another actor that I had liked as well. I do have reservations. I don't know how it's going to work with 3 companions, so we shall see. I like Chris Chibnall, who is the new showrunner. I don't like Chris Chibnall. Now, I like some of what he has done in other, not in Doctor Who in the sense that, you know, stories and stuff, but in he did Broadchurch, and I really like that. Now, I have a lot of reservations about him as the showrunner for Doctor Who, and so the series starting tomorrow, because he has, you know, he said a lot of things about the new season. And, you know, about the new people, the new characters and such. And I'm concerned. You know, I'm concerned about some of the things he said about how, you know, the reason having these characters and this diversity and things like that. And how it's almost like he wants to please everyone. You know, he said, I think it's something like whether you're 8 or 80 years old, you know, we're going to have something for you to find in Doctor Who. Also, like, you know, you can, if, you know, there's 4 different characters and you can identify with one of them and that can be your favorite character. I'm concerned about that. I know that Stephen Moffat did not, I know that there were, you know, he had his fans and he had his detractors. And say what you will, I liked the overarching stories and mysteries and things like that. That's what I look for. I don't need a monster of the week or you know, this problem of the week. I want that, you know, I mean, sure, you have that because that's what's entertaining in the episode, but you have the overarching story and mystery. And I know a lot of people did not appreciate that. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see. My reservations have nothing to do with it being a woman or it being her, the actress, but I really, I'm waiting to see.
Moffat never wrote his characters into a box, and I feel like that's a way to do it, you know, the way Chris Chibnall's lining out these characters. Yeah. Like, it's just, they're going to be one personality, one type of person, you know. Normally his companions vary, they're brimming with personality. It seems like it would kind of just take away from that if they were just, you know, all individually identifiable.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the thing is, like, I mean, you could say what you just said there. You could say Bill, she was the last companion or the latest, although she shared that with another companion, Nordal. And the thing is that Bill, she wasn't the best companion, that's for sure. And unfortunately, it was, you know, she made it known every single episode that she's a lesbian, which, you know, hey, whatever, I don't care, you know, but it was such a focus of her character. And
it wasn't with Jack Harkness, you know?
Oh, yeah, but no, well, first of all, he's pansexual, okay?
Yeah.
Although, for any Torchwood fans, the Torchwood, the one they brought to the U.S. and did as a longer story and everything, they completely fucked up his sexuality, which was a travesty. But anyway, I digress. No, I love Captain Jack, absolutely. But yeah, no.
For me, that's how you do a character right. You know,
definitely.
You don't make it about what they are. You make it about who they are.
Oh my God, this is hilarious because that's the exact problem I have with so many things these days. It's like, I don't care. When I say I don't care if the doctor's a woman, a man, black, white, I really don't fucking care. It's the same like when you have, there's so many things coming out. Like, for instance, you know, Black Panther, there was backlash because, oh my God, you know, we almost got to see a relationship between two members of the Dora Milaje. You know what? I don't fucking care. I don't care if, you know, what sexuality, what, you know, who they like, whatever. If it's important for the story, then that's fine. But if it's not, if it's just shoehorned in to have diversity or, you know, lesbian stuff, then it doesn't need to be there. You know, half the time we don't see the romantic interests of the hero or the heroine or whoever. So I don't need it here, you know. So yeah, we'll see. I'm just a little. I have reservations about the new season of Doctor Who. I'm gonna watch it, and I hope to be surprised. But yeah.
Well, I guess on that note, good news for those of us in America. While this discussion was going on, I looked up the BBC America schedule, and it does appear that it is airing tomorrow here as well. Which is it's actually really great because 5 o'clock my time they're showing Blink, which is one of my all-time favorite episodes.
Oh, that's
and then
awesome.
Immediately going into the premiere. So I will definitely have to make sure to like remember to watch it or record it or something.
Okay, so Blink, if I'm not mistaken, was also written by Stephen Moffat.
Yep.
Before he was the showrunner. And the thing about Blink is it's what's called a Dr. Light episode. So, you know, ever so often, to give the actors a break, etc., you have a Dr. Light episode where the doctor may only appear a few minutes in the show, and the rest of the episode is about either his companion or, in the case of Blink, about someone we've never met before. But it is such an awesome episode. Oh,
it's what I love about Doctor Who. Like, it can feel entirely dreamlike sometimes in the way that they just make these stories just happen. Like, they can be completely unrelated, but the Doctor, he'll come swooping in and, you know, just make everything connected to his own story, and everything makes more sense from his perspective, but you're still enthralled with the characters that were there. That's what I loved about Moffat. And Chibnall, I think he made that Cube episode. That had the same amount of wonder to it. And I really hope he can do more like that. It's just also in that episode, he kind of had a lot of problems with characters just kind of showing up and disappearing. So I'm hoping there's not too much of that.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I know that in Stephen Moffat's run, even though Doctor Who has always been a family show and it's before the watershed and everything in the UK, it's also I'm not a kid, and when I watch it, I don't have, I'm not seeing it as a kid, and I can understand more adult themes and things like that, and that's what I loved about Moffat's episodes. That, okay, I'm not saying they were perfect, but I love some of the storylines and some of the mystery, and so that's what I love about Doctor Who, and I've the good thing is in everything we've had in the new Who has been along those lines. So I like I said, I'm very reserved, and I'm very skeptical when he says that, it's, if you're 8 or if you're 80, you're going to find something to watch here. I'm like, okay, let's, please don't ruin it. But under no condition do I think it would be because of it being a woman doctor or having a woman actress, or having an actress play the role that's going to ruin it. It's more, what is Chris Chibnall going to do to it? So, I'm reserved. Anyway,
I was a little mistaken on the schedule.
Oh,
I mean that's still true, but it is actually, it looks like it's going to be premiering simultaneously.
Cool.
Or maybe like an hour difference, because as early as 1:45 p.m. is when it's officially premiering, and then they're just doing reruns of it.
That's great, because I remember, when I used to I used to live in France, and so I was watching Doctor Who in France, and there was just no way, I could ever watch anything on the actual TV in France, because they didn't show Doctor Who. And then ever so often, you come across where they had some episodes that were dubbed, but it was way later on, way after I started watching. So yeah, I had to watch it through other means that I won't talk about here. But no, that's really great. So you don't have to wait that long if you're into Doctor Who. So I'm excited, but I'm also, I'm skeptical. We'll see. Daredevil's coming back on the 19th, season 3. I will watch it. I have watched the last 2 seasons. I'm a big Marvel fan, even of Marvel television fan. Except I haven't watched, I didn't watch Iron Fist. It just didn't appeal to me, and everything I heard about it was not so great. So I haven't seen any of the Iron Fist, and I haven't seen the Punisher, but I have watched all the other Marvel series, including one that is completely underrated, which is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyone who was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when it first came on, the first season, most of the first season is really bad, but after Captain America, was it Winter Soldier? I think it was. Oh my God, they completely, the show did a 180, and then it's just gotten better and better. So if you're not watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you should be. It's really good.
That is so funny to me, because I've only watched the first episode of that show, and I thought, man, I'm not coming back to this. No, way.
I know, right? I mean, here's the thing, even I think it was the first season actually, where they did a run of episodes, and then they did a hiatus to show, it might have been to show Agent Carter at the time or something, but there was a hiatus, and then when they came back, it was almost like a different show. And I think there was another time when I even took a little break from it. And then I came back, and it was just so much better. So, I mean, yeah, it started off rough and rocky. It started off, I would even say really bad in the beginning. But then it just, once Winter Soldier happened and they tied in some stuff there, it just completely, and like I said, it's gotten better and better. So I definitely recommend it. But going back to Daredevil, Daredevil, which, the Netflix, that part is not so much, that, and the ABC, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is also almost like a different, universe too. So it's complicated. But anyway, no, Daredevil's coming back, so I'm looking forward to it. When last we met Daredevil, he was pretty much showing or, confessing, if you will, to Karen Page that he is Daredevil. So now we get to see the fallout from that.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I spoil that for you?
I've only seen the first
crap,
season,
I'm
but
so
spoilers
sorry.
don't matter too much to me.
Okay.
No. When it comes to television, I don't care about spoilers because the show always has a way of bringing things out if it's a good show.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You know, you can have the plot explained to you as much as possible, and it'll be spoiled to you. But you're not going to see how it actually plays out. Now, if you told me what happened at the end of Breaking Bad or something like that... I
never watched Breaking Bad, but yeah. No, the funny thing about spoilers in me, like in some places, I like spoilers, and I want to, what's going to happen? What thing? And then there's some shows where I just do not want spoilers. I don't want to know. I don't want any hints or anything. But for me, it really depends on the show.
Yeah.
But okay, well, sorry again. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, but we'll see. And then the big one that I think, all of us at Gamnesia are looking forward to is on the 26th, we have Castlevania Season 2.
Right before this aired, I watched the first episode of Castlevania because it is one of my favorite game series, like Castlevania 3. That's my favorite game on the NES, and I've never looked at the Netflix series. I watched one episode, and I can't wait for Season 2 already.
Yeah, no, we watched it, and...
I'm hooked on it that fast.
Oh, yeah, no, the only shame is that it's 4 episodes, the first season.
Yeah.
The second season is going to be 8 episodes, and I heartily recommend you go watch the 4 episodes of the first season and then get ready for the second one. We're going to do that, by the way. So, yeah, it's really good.
And it's right in time for Halloween, too. So if you want to, not go trick-or-treating or whatever, you can stay at home and binge Castlevania.
No, Steven, you can go trick-or-treating.
Well, since you say it's okay.
I mean, I don't know if you'll get any candy or anything, but if you want to go trick-or-treating, hey, I won't stop you.
I mean, I gotta get candy somehow. I was gonna say, one thing I really loved about the first season, or at least initially, was I really felt empathy with Dracula, which is not something I expected at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you see the reason he does what he does. Now, of course, he didn't have to do exactly what he does. And
right.
I'm not trying to spoil it for anyone, so yeah. He didn't have to do exactly what he does. He could have done less than what he does. And so that's a shame, but I understand. I had played the games a long time ago, so, at least one game or something, and I have one of the games on my 3DS. I knew a little bit about the universe, but not much, and then we started watching the show, and I was hooked. Right from the first episode, the first few minutes, I was hooked. But yeah, when you see what happens and why it happens, I could feel empathy for him too, wow. So...
And personally, from what I've seen in the first 2 episodes I think I've seen so far, his motivation is almost entirely based on the difference between what makes him a man and what makes him a beast. And that's a contrast you don't really see in that many supernatural TV shows or anything like that. You don't see that contrast, and the way they bring it out is just such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Dracula's motivations, it's almost poetic the way he's operating here. And it really works in tune with the games, too. As someone who's loved Symphony of the Night, the story of that definitely feels resemblant of what's going on here.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend it. So yeah, we're going to binge watch the first season and then get ready for season 2. So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing this. I would certainly binge it before this comes out. But if you really, really want to wait, or if you just want to own a copy of it, they actually are coming out with a Blu-ray release of season 1 in December.
I don't have a Blu-ray. Who has a Blu-ray?
Well, maybe if you had an Xbox.
Oh.
I have one Blu-ray.
Wait, so wait. You have to get an Xbox to you actually you use Xbox just to play Blu-rays?
Yeah, well, no, I mean,
okay,
I have games and stuff too, but I don't have a set Blu-ray player. I always use one of the consoles because it's right there.
Oh,
but definitely binge it. Get the Blu-ray if you're feeling inclined, but don't wait that long to watch this.
Definitely. And then on the very next day, on the very next day for certain people, we have RWBY Volume 6. When I say certain people, it's that, Rooster Teeth, who is the company behind RWBY, you have a membership to their website where you can see it on the day it releases, and if not, you have to wait a few days to a week to see it if you're just don't have a membership at all. So, but
and
still.
I was going to say, I believe I heard somewhere that, actually, Rooster Teeth posted a video on it, that unlike the other seasons, this one won't be on YouTube.
Right. Because in the past, so what it is you have you go to their website and you can sign up for a free membership where you can see the episodes on their website. If you pay for a premium membership, you get it the day of. If you have a free membership, I think it was like 3 days later or something
like that.
And then a few days later, it would be on YouTube. And so on their channel, you could go to YouTube and watch the videos there. But now they are not going to be on YouTube at all. They will only be on the website. But you can sign up for a free membership, not costing a thing. You'll just have to wait a few days, up to a week, to get the episode. Or you can pay.
And I'm not even sure you have to do that. I think you can watch it without a membership. You just got it. I think it's like a week later.
Yeah, I think so.
I have one, so I don't know.
Yeah, I signed up for a premium membership for 6 months. My membership was still going on. I know Rooster Teeth has a lot of good stuff. I just don't watch any of it. So I kind of basically bought a membership to watch RWBY. But, yeah, so it's I'm waiting for it to be over now, and I'll just watch it with, either a free account or no account. We'll see. But no, I do recommend it. It's for any of you who watch RWBY, last season at the end there were some things that happened, and including a character who died, for example, or two at least. And there's already been artwork released, official artwork that shows some interesting things. So there's a lot of speculation right now about the new season and about some of these characters. So I'm excited for that as well. The only bad thing about RWBY is that each episode is anywhere from 12 to 18 minutes, which is very short. So
yeah, and for those of you who haven't seen it,
I haven't seen it.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Some of the seasons have some pacing problems. I mean, it's not a perfect series by any means, but and certainly compared to later seasons, like Volume 1, just looks really rough. I believe they were just switching over to using a new animation software, and it took some time to get acquainted with that. The quality gets so much better in later seasons. Just do yourself a favor and skip season 3. I won't spoil anything, but you can ignore it.
I don't know about that.
Not. I'm just upset at season 3.
You're upset. Okay, so Steven's personal preference is that you skip season 3.
You can skip the last episode of maybe not the whole season.
And now I'm gonna have to go back and see what happened in that specific episode to see why you would want to. I think I know why.
Yeah, it still hurts.
The thing I have with that episode, the only thing I want to know is something that happened in that episode. I want to know why it happened, what it means, and they haven't said it. So that's what I want to know. Like, what is it about this certain person that happened and that did a thing in that episode? Why did it happen? What does it mean? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm my incident was immediately before that.
Well, actually triggered. I know what your incident is, but and I get it. I get it. But
oh yeah, I wouldn't change it. It's it provides a lot of motivation for a lot of the characterization,
of course,
and the coming. So all the people who want them to go back and fix this in various ways. I completely disagree with.
Yeah, I mean, about the speculation with the artwork that they've shown, there is some feedback about, well, hey, if you can do this, why can't we have this other thing? So, I don't know. I agree with you. I think it had to happen, so we'll see. And if you want to know what we're talking about, you should go watch Ruby. And also binge watch it.
Yes, and actually watch it. Don't take my advice and watch it. It's super.
No,
I'm gonna give it a try. My buddy, he was over at New York Comic Con many years ago. He got a signed copy with pretty much all of the team members there, like the voice actors.
I hate him already.
And he's got Monty's autograph and stuff, and it means a lot to him.
Yeah,
it really means a lot to him. So
wow.
I've never checked it out, but
yeah.
No, I'm super jealous of Ben.
Yeah,
that's a little off topic, but Ben has really good convention luck in meeting people. So about the same time I was doing the interview with the Senran Kagura producer, he ran into Gus on the show floor at E3. And then immediately after that, just randomly got behind Bernie in line at the food court. And it seemed like every time I got on Facebook, the first thing that I saw was a post from Ben saying, "Oh, met this person." I'm like, dude, stop it. But it was really bad this year because he got to meet Barbara.
Yeah, they had a Rooster Teeth party.
And I got super fucking jealous about that. And he didn't help because he was telling me, oh, she's so fucking sweet. I'm like, no, I hate you, stop.
Wow. Yeah, no, I know he went to a Rooster Teeth party this year. So yeah, that was fun for him. But he watches, I think he watches quite a few of their properties and such. And
I think he watches just about everything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I have not. I should have. I mean, I still have my membership. I should go in and see what else they have. I think when I got it, and I did look around, I was like, I don't know, and then I just didn't go back. But I should at least go and see what else they have.
Alright, well, I guess if that wraps up the big release calendar, we can get into our main topic of discussion, which is games that define us as gamers. So, again, kind of going back to the getting to know us part of this. Of course, we're all gamers, and I imagine we all kind of took very different paths to get where we are. And so, I guess we're going to discuss how we got to where we are. So, I guess, Alex, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. When I started playing video games, I was pretty much 3 years old. I have very vivid memories of hooking up the NES to the patio and just playing outside in the sun and all that stuff. And that was just an incredible experience, but I can't say that's what defines me. My first game? No. I'd have to say that, the games that define me the most as what I play now would have to be from the Metal Gear Solid series, or probably from, Katamari or something like that. But those games hold a very special place in my heart, because the amount of detail that went into Metal Gear Solid, and the amount of fun that you can have playing Katamari, it all blends in, and that ultimately just creates what I look for in a video game, and what I appreciate in any art form, really. From looking at how stories work, and looking at how fun gameplay can be. Just all these different game mechanics being perfected in two different ways with these two different franchises. It's beautiful. And really, when I was growing up, I've always been either Nintendo or Xbox, and I've never really touched any of those other games from pretty much any other company, up until, I started playing a little more of, Civilization, and, games kind of like that, simulation games, financial simulators. Roller Coaster Tycoon is my shit. And I'm the only person you'll ever hear say that.
Probably. Oh my God.
But yeah, when I look for a game, I look for the experience. If it's going for something, I'm looking for what it's going for. I'm not, I don't look at things from a certain perspective, because art's different, and you gotta appreciate it differently. And the way video games have impacted me is just massive when it comes to how I look at everything. It allowed me to be a little more critical, a little more perceptive, and even when I watch TV and movies, and I listen to a ton of music now. But you can pick apart things in the same way that you find good qualities in these video games. And those series, personally, to me, showed me just how everything can be broken down and assessed like that. I'm an analytical person.
Okay.
So I think, for me... So, the first game I ever got was I can't talk right now. Conker's Pocket Tales on the Game Boy Color. It was the first game I got when I got my Game Boy. It was a bitch of a game for a 4-year-old to play. I don't think I ever got past the first level till years later. But I think what really got me started was Pokemon Red and later Gold. My friend had actually had a slightly beat up Red cartridge where like the front cover came off and you could take the chip out and stuff. I think I still have it, actually. That was the first time I'd played a Pokemon game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just going around and seeing all the different creatures. It was fascinating to young me. And then Pokemon Gold just expanded upon that exponentially. I mean, I still, if you listen to Switched On last week, I believe I mentioned that Gold is still kind of like my gold standard for Pokemon. Gave me everything I wanted. Less story, which is weird coming from someone who really likes a lot of story in the games, or in games in general. Not super heavy on story like the modern ones. You had that sense of exploration. You got all the new Pokemon. And then, at the end of it, like, you beat the Elite Four, and you're like, you're done. But wait, you can go through the original region and go get 8 more badges and do all this all over again. And that, I'm still hoping for, like, some kind of combined region game, personally.
I'm really hoping we see something like that in the newer Pokemon games in the new generation. At least, like, maybe different, regions that we can go to. Maybe different provinces or whatever. That'd be cool.
I think, for me, coming off of Pokemon, the next game that really got me was The Legend of Zelda Oracle Seasons. And I didn't really understand how that impacted me until only within the past 2 or 3 years. It's one of the first games I legitimately remember playing. It really got me started on the Zelda franchise, and despite my hatred of Breath of the Wild, I still love the most of the other Zelda games.
But
I really like the idea that you could beat ages and link the games together. That was just a novel concept for me. Though I never owned Ages, and I'm not as big of a fan. Which is weird, because I like a lot of puzzles, and Ages is supposed to be more the puzzle game, as opposed to Seasons, which is more action-y. But where this really gets into defining me as a gamer is that it actually was the first game I started to try and learn the speedrun for. Mostly because I have such fond memories of it. So back when I was still... Because I used to be anti-speedrunning, just in general. And then I caught one of the GDQs one year, and it completely turned me around. But I was, now I was like, oh yeah, if you want to learn the speedrun, our community is really welcoming. And I was like, cool, everyone says that. But I eventually wound up seeing an old run of Oracle Seasons, and I just remember being like, oh shit, I can run this. And so I started learning that and kind of dropped it maybe a month or so later, because I didn't have the time to put into it then. But I'm trying to get back.
I have not played that one, either of those 2 games.
Fun fact, they were made by Capcom.
Yeah, I know yeah, I know they were different than like some of the others or the rest in that respect.
I own every Zelda game, bought those too.
Maybe that's why.
A more modern game would be BioShock.
That's a nice pick.
I adore the living hell out of BioShock.
Okay, no spoilers.
I won't spoil anything, I promise. But it's one of the few games I feel like I can legitimately come back to time and time and time again. And still just absolutely adore. Like, it never gets old for me. For me, like, the big shift here for me, though, was that it was really the first time I started focusing on, like, the story and the setting of the game. So BioShock being set in this underwater city is supposed to be this utopia free from all this stuff that, you know, is seen as bad, you know, on the surface world, and then you just get plopped into this, like, after everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of story there within the game itself, and prior to, you know, what events led up to the fall of Rapture. What, you know, how did this whole thing get started? And I don't know, for me, it really marked my shift from, like, focusing on multiplayer stuff to a more single-player, story-driven experience. I also like to tell this story when I talk about BioShock, because I pick on my sister quite a bit when she's playing games, particularly horror games. This one actually wasn't something I did, now that I think about it, but she was playing it for the first time. This is like right at the beginning of the game when you go to Rapture for the first time, and you go through the city, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. We were playing on this big CRT TV, and the ports for the VGA cables were loose, particularly the video one. And so you have to go through the city, you pop up, and you're sitting in the bathysphere as one of the splicers, like, comes and tries to attack it.
Right.
And the video cable just out of nowhere just, like, cut out.
Oh, no.
Like, right before it attacked the bathysphere. And so Cindy, of course, paused the game and flipped the cord or whatever to get it working, unpaused it, and immediately was met with, like, the screech of, like, the splicer, like, trying to open the bathysphere to get to you. And it scared her half to death, and it was the funniest fucking thing.
Oh my god.
That's what I love about those games, though. The atmosphere is just so spooky and unsettling. It still gets me when I go back and play it.
So, fun fact, I'm actually playing through the first one right now.
Oh, you'll have to let me know what you think.
So I bought, you know, it was a special thing, one of the Steam sales, I think. So I have BioShock, BioShock Remastered, BioShock 2, 2 Remastered, and BioShock Infinite.
I got that same thing.
So yeah, so I'm actually playing BioShock Remastered. Sorry, and I'm in I'm in like the first part. You know, when you're in the medical clinic thingy. You know.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, and the thing is that I went and there's a part where you have to go down and you have to get the telekinesis, right? And so I was trying to find the door to, you know, at first they tell you, oh, you have to go find this guy. And I couldn't find the door for that. So I ended up going downstairs and I got the telekinesis. And then I went back upstairs and I saw the door. And, or I found out where the door was or something. But I went and I stopped my PlayStation. And then another time I was like, well, I'm going to go back in, but this time I'm actually just going to go through the door. I'm not even going to care about going downstairs to get the telekinesis. I'm just going to go through the door and go find the dude. And then, you know, I get there and then like, oh, you need the telekinesis. I was like, fuck you. You know, it's like, what? It's not even fair. So, yeah, I've had some hits and misses with it where I had to go back in and go and redo a thing that, I had done before. And yeah, so, but I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. I am curious about the story. I have harvested a little sister. I chose to duh. I did not harvest the little sister. I chose to save the little sister. I'm not heartless. I chose to save, so yeah. And I think at the moment I am right now coming upon another little sister and her big daddy. And I have to do something. I don't know. And then I haven't played it in a while, so.
Well, if you ever get back to it, you definitely keep me posted. I'm
Okay.
interested to see how you.
No.
Well, I was gonna say the last game I would really stand out to me as defining who I am would be Cuphead. Actually, we're talking really modern now.
Oh my god.
Again, relating to speedrunning, because it's really where I kind of found my niche. I haven't run the game in a while. I'm pretty rusty, but I was one of the first people to join the community. I've been one of the moderators actually since basically day one, and I've since been for a while now. Actually, just kind of by seniority, kind of the head mod, which is a really cool thing for me. Here I was just a couple years ago, I'm never gonna, do anything worthwhile speedrunning. It's fun, but I'm not gonna get any records, or I'm not ever gonna get to mod a game or whatever. But it just so happened that I picked up on this one really quickly, and was very active in the early days and helping organize things, and kind of moved up to the head mod position as the guy who originally submitted the game. Kind of just became inactive insanely quickly, which I get. He runs other games and just didn't have the time to devote to this. But it's gotten me to do a lot as far as event planning. I've been able to help organize and run a couple different tournaments now, that sort of thing. But it really helped me achieve, or at least partially achieve, one of my dreams of actually running something at a Games Done Quick.
Okay.
So I didn't actually get to run the game, but Cuphead made its first appearance at Summer Games Done Quick this past summer. It was technically released after the cutoff for AGDQ, so that's why I had to wait till summer. But since I was going and being one of the moderators, I actually got to sit on the couch and help with commentary, which was a dream come true. Just to be on stream like that, in some fashion. Yeah, it was a super well received run. Shameless plug, go watch it if you haven't. The Mexican runner who was the guy running the game did a fantastic job. We really kind of took it out of a speedrun element for reasons I will not get into right now. But we decided to turn it more into an entertainment thing. So we did voices for all the characters and everything. It was just a super good time getting to meet some of the other people in the community, just to see the reaction. I think I saw somewhere where it was one of the most watched runs from that marathon. The room was packed. I think we probably had well over 170,000 people watch live. Someone in the chat told me, because I asked, but it was just a super good experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I aside from my personal feelings on that, I really like the fact that it's really a testament to smaller studios being able to follow their passion and make something of themselves. I believe the devs actually wound up mortgaging their houses to
Really?
make this a reality.
They brought this up. I was at a panel for them at EGLX. I was at a Q&A with Maya and Jared, I think. No, it was Chad and Maja. Yeah. But they were there, and they put so much love into that game, and you can tell in their voice that they just, literally, it is their passion. It is their main thing to them. Like, it's everything. And it's just something you don't get too often with a game that makes it this big. And I think it's a real success story for developers that want to make their dreams happen. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean they put so much work into it. I mean the soundtrack is absolutely gorgeous. It's easily one of my favorite game soundtracks of all. Like I couldn't even tell it was a game soundtrack the first time I listened to it. It just felt like a straight up jazz album. I mean just the art style is phenomenal. And just to see the amount of success, they've sold well over 3 million copies of this, and just to go from like, we're going to mortgage our house, and we're not entirely sure this is going to be a success, but this is what we really want to do, and just to see all the good that came of it, and all the success that it touches me.
Yeah, no, it's a great game. I have it, and we've played it, but I can't play it long because then my thumbs get sore. And then, it's a difficult game. So what ends up happening is, when we play, I usually die quickly, and then Ombre has to finish it by himself. So, which isn't fair to him. So, yeah. So we have to repeat levels quite a bit, and we haven't played in a while, because for me, I'm like, crap, I don't want to die so quickly. But there were, there's one part of it I remember when we were playing, and, we would both be doing it, and then, like, as we died and had to redo it, we were, like, almost memorizing, okay, at this point, we're going to want to duck here and do this thing, and, kind of coordinate our movements and everything to get past, and, but it's a fun game. It's just hard. But I think it's good that it's hard. Yeah, I'm not complaining.
What about you? What games would you...
So remember I said we'd come back and talk about Wolfenstein? So, I played games when I was a kid, games on the NES and even some Sega, Sonic and things like that. Played other games too, but nothing that really, and I did play the first, I played Legend of Zelda, all those years ago, but nothing, there was then a period of time where I didn't game at all. And then I played Wolfenstein 3D and Doom. And then, of course, Doom 2. And I just remember Wolfenstein and Doom. It was just, I loved it. I love playing those games even today. At the time, I think I was dating someone who, like, hey, use this code. So I still have the codes memorized, the cheat codes for, like Doom. So like what, IDDQD and IDKFA. Like I still have that in my head, which is really funny. But what I liked about the games, they're shooters and everything, but I like the story aspect of it. I like the fact that, in Wolfenstein, you're BJ Blazkowicz and you're going to go fight some Nazis. Graphics be damned, it was still, really fun. And what I really love in the new games is that you can go to sleep and have a nightmare where you're in the original Wolfenstein 3D game. I love that. And then Doom, you're the Doom guy and you're just, you've got to fight demons. And then I remember playing Doom 2 and it was just so awesome. So I loved all of that. So shooters were always for me the games that really, that I enjoyed playing, that I just, just had so much fun playing. And then there was a long period I didn't game again. Just for, I moved overseas. I didn't have, didn't have a good computer for gaming and things like that. And so actually when I picked up gaming again was only a few years ago. And the funny thing is it was on my MacBook, if you can believe it. Aside from trying to play on the PlayStation 3, the Wolfenstein New Order, but, it was on my MacBook, and, I picked up again, and one of the first games that I played on my MacBook that actually, and it was fine on it, was Portal 2. And I loved it, and then, of course, I played Portal after that. So yeah, I'm always doing things in the wrong order. Because the game that I kind of consider my favorite game, although it goes back and forth, is Half-Life 2, which again I played on my MacBook, and I love it. And then I went back and played Half-Life. So again, the wrong order, but Half-Life 2, again, what appealed to me is it's a shooter, but it's got such a great story behind it. And there's parts of it, aside from the different mysteries of G-Man and things like that, when you're back on Earth where there's the Combine and you have to go in and almost like save humanity. It's just it's great, and I would love one day to see a Half-Life 3, but I don't think that would ever happen. So yeah, it was basically games like Half-Life 2 and Portal that brought me back in, and then from there, Borderlands. Again, playing Borderlands 2 and then going back and now playing Borderlands. So I don't know what it is about playing the second one before the first one, but that's just a thing that I do.
Well, I do the same thing. I remember playing. I played Mass Effect at a friend's house, and it did not go well. Like I was just like, this is kind of cool, but like I'm not super into this. And then I remember, in like the strangest case of pre-order madness, that GameStop was offering the Singularity gun as a pre-order bonus for Mass Effect 2. And for whatever reason, I'm just like, I have to have this. So I pre-ordered it and wound up playing a bit of 2 before ever finishing the first game. And it took me like 3 tries to get through the first game. And I absolutely love it now. I'm just like, what was I thinking pre-ordering a game I didn't care for the first one?
Yeah.
I've been there.
And that's the thing about Half-Life 2 is completely different from Half-Life. The graphics are so much better. It's a different engine. It's, there's so much. It's a vast improvement overall, but I needed to go play Half-Life to, get fully into the whole universe and everything. So I'm glad that I did. But I can tell you, it's funny. I tried to go play Half-Life, the first one, on my PC recently, because remember I played all these on my MacBook before, and on my PC it was awful. It was something about there was something about the sensitivity, the graphics, something about it just was not working well on my PC, and apparently that was a common problem. So I couldn't do it. But yeah, no, so those are the games that kind of, brought me back in. And then, I played Guild Wars 2, and then Diablo 3 as well. Just, also great games for me that, I spent a lot of time playing. And, I love shooters, but then, I do love other genres like action adventure and puzzle games and things like that. And so another game that, I never finished Legend of Zelda, but I played Ocarina of Time and I finished it and loved it. And again, it's a story that appeals to me. I mean, sure, there's all the gameplay and everything, but I love the story. And I played Majora's Mask as well. And then, in terms of, and then I went back and I actually finished Legend of Zelda that I had started all those years ago. I actually finished it, and that was, that was interesting. And I played Link Between Worlds, and I've still got on my 3DS Link to the Past that I'm trying to finish, but that's, I prefer Link Between Worlds. I know that's not a popular opinion, but it's true. So yeah, I would say that in terms of games that define me, on the one hand, there are the shooters, and mostly it's Wolfenstein and the whole Doom universe. Those two really were what started me on my path to really enjoying games, I guess. And then, after there's, the whole Zelda, Breath of the Wild is one that I do love. It's not my favorite Zelda game, I think. I'm not actually sure yet. And then the Half-Life universe. And I mean, I'm going to actually include Portal in that too, because, they're connected. They are. So yeah. But I think that for me, like, I have the 2016 Doom that I still have not finished, because I just, I played it, but then I have other games that, came and I needed to play, and I haven't gone back to finish Doom. I did the Wolfenstein ones this year, finally, all 3 of the new ones. I do have some of the older Wolfenstein games as well, but they don't play as well these days on PC. So yeah, I mean, I like story, and I think that those games plus the Zelda games, they give me that story. It's not just about the mechanics and the shooting and it's not just the adventure. It's, there's a big story, a mystery, a something, so I love it. And that's what I love playing these days. And so that's why I play, like, the shooters is why I play Battlefield 1 and Siege these days. But then, as I said, I'm looking for a good platformer with a good story. And I haven't found one yet. Or I should say, I finished, I pretty much finished Ori and the Blind Forest. That's a good platformer with a good story. And I'm still working on Hollow Knight, which is also a good platformer, good story, but I haven't finished yet. So I think that's about it for me.
Alex, do you have anything else to add?
I'm all good.
Alright, well, I guess in that case, we're going to go ahead and wind this up. I guess before we do that, I know we're running fairly long here, but I just want to take a moment to discuss Gamnesia After Dark going forward. So, much like Switched On, we're going to try and keep things fresh and have a rotating cast. So you get to hear from a lot of different people with a lot of different gaming backgrounds. We all have different views on things. I think it'll be fun to help you guys get to know the cast, or the staff as a whole, better. We also have some ideas for some fun things we might try coming up in future episodes, if there's enough interest in actually doing them. But we'll get to those later if they come up. I guess our main thing, though, is, like, we want to reach out to you guys. This is a time for us to kind of sit down and talk to each other and get to know each other better. But we're also doing this for you guys and for your enjoyment. So if you have any suggestions for fun discussion topics or anything like that, any feedback you might have on the episode, feel free to let us know. We'll certainly try to mix any topics in. We'll take your feedback and see what we can do to make the show even better for you guys. And I think that's all I got there, actually. So we're going to go ahead and call it. And I'd like to thank our lovely guests for being here with us. If you'd like to follow us on social media or elsewhere on the internet, I can be found on Twitter at RedRollinsYum.
Wait, what was that?
My Twitter handle?
Yeah.
There's a story behind that.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's not anything like what you might think. So there's a restaurant chain here in the States called Red Robin, and their commercials.
I've never eaten there.
I've been once, I think, but their commercials, like their catchphrase or whatever, is "Red Robin Yum."
Okay.
And my nickname at work over the past 7 summers has been Red. And
Yeah,
my
of
last
course.
name is Rollins, so it just seemed to fit. Like, I mean, it took me a while to get to this, but I'm just like, got it. Red Rollins Young. Like, it just to parody of the Red Robin thing. So that's where it comes from. But yeah, at Red Rollins Young.
Okay. Sure. I am at Aloisia. That's it. No story, just my name.
If you want to find me on Twitter, I am at AA_MIMIK. No story behind that. It's just a bunch of letters.
Oh, should I have spelled mine too? Okay, I'm at ALOISIA.
And then, I don't know, did you want to plug the streams one more time? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we stream, so Gamnesia, we stream on Twitch. We try to do it at least every Saturday from, so if you're in the US, it's 12 Eastern to 2 Eastern. I'm in Europe where it's, 18 to 20 Central European time. So, yeah, and we try to do it every Saturday when we're available, and sometimes there are streams during the week as well, but it all depends on, none of us have, we're all volunteers here, so this isn't, we have other jobs and commitments and everything, so, but if we're available, we do stream regularly on Saturdays, so join us if you can. Saturday is usually multiplayer time where we, like for instance today we played Smash, and the audience can join us in games as well. We've played Mario Kart. Sometimes we play other games. We've even played, we played PUBG. We've played, we've done some of the Jackbox party games. We've done some other things as well. So yeah, the next stream should be next Saturday.
Awesome. And that's twitch.tv/Gamnesia?
Yes.
Cool. So, yeah, I guess that covers it. So, thank you guys for listening, and thanks again to our guests for being here. I guess we will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.